those things. We are recording, so hello whenever you get to this. As a little quick preamble, there's some construction going on, so this might be a full hour class. It might not be. There might be some bangs happening in the background. So if you're feeling a little sensory sensitive, maybe pick a different class of the library to do. As always, if you would like a blanket to keep close by, it's kind of nice to use for some knee protection. We'll probably use it a little bit as well. And I think that's it for props for today. So let's bring ourselves onto hands and knees, get a little spinal mobility going. You can tuck your toes if you'd like to or not. And then as you inhale, lengthening your chest through your hands and exhaling to round it out. And then a few more like that. So I'll also apologize. I'm a little extra layered up today because of the walls coming down. It's very cold in my house. So I needed a few extra layers just to stay warm as we move together. One more time, inhaling to lengthen it out. Exhaling to round. And then if you kind of like keep your spine round, but just shift your knees back a little bit, keep your toes tucked, and maybe scoop and press back. And so you get a little bit of a stretch through the back of the feet, a rounding through the belly, a pressing of the hands away from the floor. If it feels good to walk your hands over to the right for a nice side stretch, you can take a breath in there and out, and then walking hands over to the left. Feel the right side of the torso, get a bit of a stretch, scooping through that belly, breathing in and out. And then coming towards center, ripple roll your spine up. You can maybe give your hips a little wiggle, anything that feels good here. But we are going to meet on hands and knees. Now, of course, at any time, if that feels not fabulous, you're welcome to come onto your forearms and work from there. So zipping that belly in, keeping our torso as still as possible. You're going to reach the right leg back in space. Seemingly no big deal. I promise it's going to build. Pull that right leg in. I'm going to just shift a little bit and then exhale to reach it back. So not terribly complicated in terms of choreography, but as we stay simple with our movement, we're going to really focus on the stabilizing. So opportunity to check in with what your head and your neck are doing. If it's a possibility to keep your head upright, please do when you're looking ever so slightly forward. As we slide that right leg out and in, we're trying to keep our pelvis as still as possible. And we're really pushing that floor away. And it's like you're pressing from underneath the armpits. And also like a little bit of softness around the tops of the shoulders. Yeah, so we're trying to harness power from underneath ourselves, zipping that rib cage in. And if you had a ball or a block across the back of your pelvis here, it would remain totally still. Let's go for 3. I'm just gonna shift my mat a little bit because I don't want my toes to be taking over the mic for you. Let's go for 2. Pulling it in. Last one. All right, so we're still pressing that floor away. Right leg is back. We're going to take that right leg up. You're going to lower it down, squeeze the bum, exhale, lift. Lower down to tap, exhale, lift. Pressing that floor away, growing long from head to tail, zipping into that low belly, exhaling to lift. And as you're doing these little lifts and lowers here, maybe you start to feel your side bum a little bit. What I'm hoping happens is that top long right leg is the one that's starting to toast up for us, yeah? And as we lift and lower this leg, it's likely the pelvis might want to kind of roll with us. Maybe it wants to lean to the left. So we're going to try to stay as centered as possible using all that housekeeping from before. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Last one, you're going to lift. Now we're going to keep the leg up. We're going to do a little pulse it up, pulse it up, pulse and squeeze, pulse and squeeze. And so ever so slightly, you're like releasing the bum and then squeezing, release and then squeeze, release and then squeeze, release and then squeeze. Little pulse. Now, if you're feeling extra fabulous and spicy today, maybe there's a possibility, I'm definitely not going to be able to hold this, but to tuck those left toes and hover your knee as you're pulsing that right leg. Let's go for 10. For 9, I'm going to drop my bottom knee, 8, but you can probably keep it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, strong back leg. Now we're going to go even quicker. Pulse it up, pulse it up, pulse it up, pulse it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep the right leg lifted, come down onto your left forearm. You're gonna turn your torso, open that leg, and maybe you're still hovered in that bottom left knee, yeah? We're gonna pull the right knee in as if it could tap the right elbow, maybe it does, and then reach it back. Pull it in, squeeze it out. Pull it in, squeeze it out. Checking in with that upper body the whole entire time you're moving here, yeah? Remember that bottom knee can be lifted up as well. We're going for 3. For 2. Last one, hold that leg out. Let's pulse it up and up. Zipping that bottom waist. Yeah, reach it away. For 8. Remember that bottom knee can still be hovered. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Give yourself a little wiggle. Maybe roll out through those wrists a little bit if they are starting to feel a little nickety. Maybe rolling out through your spine. All right. You can be on your forearms or on your hands. We're going to again start in that nice tabletop. Step your right leg back. And then maybe you step your left leg back. Yeah, maybe you find a plank here. Maybe you're happiest on your forearms. Maybe you're happiest with your knees down. Yeah, not ever forgetting about that delicious glute squeeze. We want to feel through the back of the body, wherever you are. We're here for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, 5, keep pressing, 4, long spine, 3, strong glutes, 2, last 1. Bring it down, give it a shake. Nice job here, team. All right, I'm gonna turn around for the other side. You can be wherever you want to be. Feeling that nice long line head to tail. And again, you could definitely be on forearms here as we start just by reaching that left leg back and then drawing it in. Left leg reaches back and then drawing it in. So a little bit of housekeeping wherever you are here. Just like on that first side, we want to make sure that we're not sort of like opening up with that hip right now. That is going to come later, as we know. We're also not leaning to the right. We want to stay as long from head to tail as possible. Zipping into that low belly, taking that left leg back. Now you could always do this if you have a strap at home. I didn't say that on the first side, but you could always loop a strap at your foot so you're pushing into something. Yeah, that's an option. Checking right now, it's just our stability of our abs. Let's go for 2, setting that foundation. Last 1, we're gonna take that leg, we're gonna lift it. Now as we lift, we're making sure not to dump into our low lumbar and then tap down. Lift the left leg up, lower it down. Lift and lower and lift. Knowing that you full well might feel that supporting side working just a little bit more, especially because we've already worked it and it's stabilizing you, yeah? As you lift that left leg, can we make sure the quad is zipped? Can we make sure the hips are still level, that we're pushing the floor away, that we're drawing the rib cage in, that we're pressing into the fingertips, not just the heels of our hands. For 3, for 2, last 1. Knowing you could always tuck the right toes and lift your knee to hover as you pulse the leg. Lower and lift, lower and lift, lower and lift. Now, obviously, if you're gonna hover that bottom knee, there's some more quad action there. It's requires a little more from the body and pulse. Press the floor away, zip the rib cage in, squeezing through those glutes. And we pulse and we pulse. The hips are nice and level, yeah? The belly is drawn in. And we're trying to think about that long line from the smiley part of your bum cheek down the back of your thigh, getting into that hamstring. Drawing the rib cage in, pushing that floor away for 10, 9, 8, 7. Remember that bottom knee could still be hovered. For 4, for 3. We're going a little quicker with those pulses now. Up, 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 up. Squeezing that bum cheek. It's working super hard. We pulse, we pulse. You kind of almost want to think about internally rotating a little bit so your leg doesn't turn out just yet. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it up, come down onto the right forearm. You're going to press into your left hand so that you can kind of rotate, and now your leg will externally rotate as well, and maybe that bottom knee is hovered up. We squeeze the left knee in and then reach it back. I'm going to lower that bottom knee because for me, it's not gonna work out hard. Good, pull it in, definitely getting warmer now, yeah? Pull it in, squeeze and reach. Now you could flex this foot if you wanted to, you can point it, whatever feels good. Giving that glute a really nice squeeze in and out. For 5, for 4, bottom knee could still be hovered. 3, pressing that floor away. 2, we're working it. Last one, reach it back, little pulses up and up. And it's not just up, it's also away. Like your leg is being pulled out from your hip, your rib cage is drawn in, you're long from head to tail. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in, warming through the legs. Give your wrists a little roll. I feel like they have caught on that I teach on Wednesdays. Seems to have gotten much quieter in here. Okay, here we go. Plank roundos. Hands can be set up. You can also be on your forearms. Finding that nice tabletop, that long line of pressing the floor away. Step your left leg back, fire in through those glutes, press the floor away, maybe step your right leg back. If that doesn't feel good, you can always come onto your knees. You can come onto forearms and knees. Truly whatever's gonna feel the most powerful, the most dynamic, the most stable for you. Let's stay for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5. We're gonna work into the shoulders and mid back a little bit next round. 2, last 1, press yourself back. Take a nice shell stretch. Breathing it in and out. And then let's ripple and roll all the way up. So a little bit of shoulder mobility that we haven't done for a couple weeks actually. So those circles, yeah? So we're gonna come up in space. We're gonna step the left foot forward and the right arm. So let me turn this way for you. I was gonna maybe do left and left, but I think we might all maybe just feel like we're gonna fall over. So you're gonna fire through your back bum cheek. We're gonna reach that arm and it's gonna be in a bit of a fist, okay? So we're gonna go into some mobility here. So keeping the arm as straight as you can. From behind your shoulder, can you feel like that arm is being punched forward? And then from your shoulder, like that arm is lifting up. From that shoulder, your arm is squeezing back. From that shoulder, sliding down your back. And then from that shoulder, sliding down to the floor, tipping around and then forward. Up towards the earlobes, down and around your back, scooping down towards the floor. Reaching forward and then up, down and around your back, to the floor and forward. Around it up, down the back to squeeze, around and forward. Let's do 2 more there to just sort of feel what's happening through that musculature, really getting that shoulder blade to move as much as it can, giving the wrist a bit of a break, yeah, from that weight bearing, and then let's go the other way. So that shoulder blade slides down, squeezes back. So it doesn't look like a lot, right? It's really about how much intention and tension, intention and tension can we bring to this, right? So the stronger you flex into the arm, the more you hold the fist, the more you really dig that shoulder blade through its movements. We're sort of fanning the support of our musculature here. Let's go for 2, keeping that arm strong and steady. Last one. And bring it down, take a little pause. We're gonna go the other way. So I'm gonna turn around so you can see me, right foot forward, left arm forward, squeezing into that arm, squeezing into that bottom bum cheek too, yeah? So we can get some support and opening through the front of that hip. Squeezing your hand into a fist, let's slide that shoulder up towards our earlobe. Let's take it from the shoulder forward towards whatever's in front of you, from the shoulder down and around, and then back up. And so if you have anything going on there that maybe feels a little south of fabulous, as you're doing this, you might pass through areas that feel maybe crunchy or stuck or like don't really move, yeah? They could also feel tense or like there's knots there, like those are all possibilities. It might also glide really smoothly, yeah? So just sort of pay attention to that, because if you're feeling distress in your shoulders and your neck, if you're getting headaches, that's information. One more time. The shoulder brings you up and around. We're gonna go the other way. So the shoulder blade comes up. It's gonna slide back. It's gonna slide down towards the floor, digging in as much as you can, around and forward, And then it lifts, and it's really like someone has anchored and started to move you from that shoulder blade around, forward, and up. Woo! Getting into all of that deliciousness. Up and around and down. Squeezing it forward. Let's go for 2 more here. Getting those shoulders. Last one. And bring it back. Nice job. Give your arms a little shake. Okay, up to you. If you'd like to come up to standing, you can. If you'd like to stay kneeling, you can too. We're going to work into those arms a little bit now that we've gotten them kind of warmed up, yeah? So if you're standing, you can come, you can bend into your legs, find yourself into kind of like nice, wide-legged, upright squat shape. Again, you could also be kneeling. Those arms are going to be bent like goalposts. We're going to rotate in and then up. Rotate down and then up. Seemingly not super big of a deal, yeah? We're gonna get there. Oh, got a nice crack going on with that right arm. And up. Taking your time as you're moving here, yeah? It doesn't have to be like super duper fast. It doesn't have to be my speed. It can be your speed too. Down and up. And I wanna make sure we don't overly rotate, yeah? Truly, you're staying upright. It's wherever your arm can get to here. Let's go for 4. For 3, for 2, last one. We're gonna set our arms up to parallel. We're gonna reach them forward, squeeze them back. Forward, squeeze. Dynamic movement here through the arms. If you're low in your legs, you're holding it nice and low. Feeling those thighs externally rotating, heels hugging together. You could also be kneeling, yeah? Now, as you're doing this, it might be kind of fun to add like a wah, 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 like hip hop moment to it. If we could stay nice and low, if we could keep the core on, keep the rib cage drawing in, that would be fabulous, please. Squeeze. We're going for 8, 7, squeeze. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to take the arms in. You're going to reach right arm and then pull it in. Left arm, pull it in. Right arm, left arm. Getting that movement really nice and warmed up. Reach and reach. Extending through that arm, tall through the spine, low in the legs, hugging the heels in, turning the thighs out. You got it. And extend. And extend. Yes. Maybe if you're standing, you've got those legs burning a little bit. That's how I'm feeling for sure, along with those shoulders and arms. 1 more to each side. Left, right. We're going to pull the elbows in. We're going to reach up and then down. And as you lift up, feel like you're really pushing something. Yeah. In fact, if you're standing, you can totally get those legs going as well. Maybe it feels kind of funny. Up and then down. But I really want you to allow those shoulders to kind of slide up. You got it. Let's go for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, pull it down. You're back to those little cactusy arms. You're going to reach our arms out. Holding your arms out, as if you were holding a big, big, big beach ball. We're going to rotate in and then out. And so it's sort of like we're drawing a big ball. Keep going. I find this so challenging through the arms and the shoulders. The endurance of it, right? If you have hand weights at home, you could always pop in some light hand weights to your hands and rotate. You got it. Rotate, 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 rotate. Ribs are in, legs are low, turning it out. Wide through the shoulders for 10, 9, we got this, 8, 7, we got this, 6, 5, keep that rotation, 4, you're almost done, 3, 2, 1, bring it up. Oh my goodness. All right, let's come all the way back down. Get into that mid back a little bit more. So if you have a blanket at home, you're going to please collect it, a blanket or a towel, and we're gonna roll it up to create like a little sausage. And we're gonna set ourselves up so that our chest, we're gonna lie over it. I would like our chests on the other side of it, yeah? So we're not pressing breast tissue into whatever your surface is. It's going over that. So maybe you get a nice little, now this is a pretty melty blanket. So it kind of squishes with me, but you might have one that's a little more solid. We're going to externally rotate, turn those legs out, letting your knees look away from each other, scooping into that low belly towards your pubic bone, and then melting our heads down. We're going to set ourselves up so that your forearms are parallel to each other and they're on the floor. And you might need to play with your height and your distance here. And then our heads are down. So taking a breath in, taking a breath out to sort of feel all of that housekeeping, yeah? The long legs reaching away, the zipping in of the belly, the head nice and heavy. Starting to draw and collect the shoulder blades on the back. Let's just lift the head up. And then once you're in one long line, start to squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back, press into those elbows as we lengthen ourselves up. Might not go that high, mostly making sure we don't collapse into our low back as we get there. Taking a breath in, and then as we breathe out, let's melt all the way down. Inhaling, shoulder blades on the back, head hovers. As you breathe out, start to lengthen your chest out and forward, scooping to your pubic bone as you go here, taking your breath in nice and long. As we breathe out, melting forward to our mats. Let's do 3 more. Inhaling here. As we breathe out, lengthening through the legs, scooping through the belly, drawing into the ribs. Try not to push the ribs down, but rather draw them in and out. Breathing it in. Exhaling to melt it down and forward. 2 more. So starting to really wake up the back of the body here, like we did at the beginning of our class when we were doing that leg slidey business. We had underneath going and we were pressing from the back of our body. One more time, we're gonna lift up. We're gonna give it a little holdykins here. So if you start to find yourself getting a little bit of low back tension, you're gonna lower your torso down a little bit. We're gonna take those elbows, we're gonna dig them into the floor as we lift our forearms and our hands up. Lower them down. We're gonna do 4 more. Keep scooping through that pubic bone, lift, and as the forearms lift, the elbows are gonna hug into the floor. And I'm hoping that creates a little more mid-back experience for you. Let's go for 3. Doesn't have to be high to be effective. Let's go for 2. Hugging those shoulder blades, lifting those forearms. 1 more time. Exhaling to lift it up. Hold it here, hold it here, hold it here. And then lower down, take a little break. You can melt over the shape you've created. Looks like you're kind of like just starfishing lying out here. Breathing in and out. And then let's do that again, but we're gonna spice it up, yeah? So looking down to the floor, legs can still be hip distance, mat distance, whatever feels good. Externally rotated, scooping to that pubic bone, low belly on. Remember, we're trying to zip our rib cage in. Head starts down. Inhale, shoulder blades on the back, head lifts, and then as you breathe out, lengthen your chest out, up, and through. So right out of the gates, trying to see if we can find that spot in between the shoulder blades, lower part of the shoulder blades, that's really hugging us in here. Take a breath in to grow nice and long. As you breathe out, melt it over. Inhale, shoulder blades on the back, head hovers. As you breathe out, lengthen your chest out, up, and through. Taking your breath in. And then breathing out to melt it down. 2 more times. Inhale, shoulder blades on back, head hovers, legs on. Draw your chest open as you lift. Inhaling to be here. Exhaling to melt it down. 1 more time. Shoulder blades on the back, legs are lengthened as we lengthen our torsos to join it out and up. All right. So elbows are going to stay down. We lift the palms and the and the forearms to hover. Elbows stay down. We're going to turn the hands in and we're going to pull our thumbs on a diagonal away from us. And as we try to open that shape up, we're going to hug the shoulder blades on our back. And I'm hoping this gets really experiential in the middle of your back. For 4, for 3, for 2, last 1, rotate the arms, place them back down, check in with your spine, all of your little housekeeping. When you're ready, we dig the elbows in as we lift forearms and hands. Rotate to face each other, thumbs up because you're doing great, and then pull those arms to open. And as they open on a diagonal out and away from each other, keep squeezing the shoulder blades on the back for 4, for 3, for 2, and then rotate, lower back down. A few more like this. Let's lift the arms up, rotate in. Give yourself a thumbs up, pull out and away, zip into the belly, into the legs for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, derotate, place it down. Here we go. Dig the elbows in, lift the forearms up, check in with your pelvis, with your low back, with your ribs that you're zipping them in. You could also totally do this, keep going, drawing the forearms wide. You could also totally do this without a towel or a blanket underneath you. A little sausage. One more time. Are we getting mid back? My mid back is like, woohoo. Last one, lift, rotate, draw wide for 4, for 3, for 2, last one. Whew, if you feel like you need to take a little break and melt over your little towel sausage, you totally can. If you'd like to push out and back, you totally can as well. Oh, big stretch through the back. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. All right, let's keep this party started. Whew. Okay, we're gonna come forward again. So I'm hoping we're feeling like lots of chest opening happening here, yeah? We're going to come forward, but we're gonna come off of our bellies and come back onto hands and knees. If you really have a great support here, you can also use it for your wrists, yeah, to kind of like press on, just to give you a little bit more stability. I'm just gonna take my watch off. It's really irritating me here. Okay, so we're gonna find those hands and knees. We're going to take our right arm out beside us. We're going to press away. So if you have a band at home or a hand weight, if you have a band, you're going to step on it with your left hand and lift with your right. If you have a hand weight, pick it up with your right. If you don't have any of the above, no worries. It's fabulous either way. Long from head to tail. So now we're still keeping all that mid-back stuff on, the belly stuff on, taking your breath in. As you breathe out, can you lift that right arm up, please? Inhaling to lower it down, exhaling to lift. And as you lift it, so much work required of your abdomen to make sure you don't keep going, that you don't tilt side to side, yeah? And lengthening out and up, pressing that floor away, zipping into the rib cage, keeping wide across the tops of the shoulders, exhaling to lift. Now, if you would like to up the ante here, you're going to take your knees slightly back and come forward into a kneeling plank, lift, cray, cray. You've got it. I'm going to bring my knees forward because I'm never going to be able to talk us through it with my knees behind my hips, but you can, yeah? So you'll find a kneeling plank here. Let's go for 6. That left hand working so hard. For 5, keeping that rib cage drawn in. For 4. For 3, gaze ever so slightly forward so we can elongate out from that neck. Last one, you're gonna lift that right arm up. You're gonna take that arm overhead like you're squeezing your bicep towards your ears and then squeeze. And your palm's gonna face down the whole time. Up overhead and then squeeze. Keep going. Now again, you could have your knees behind your hips. Find yourself. Oh, it's so hard. Squeezing into those glutes and then squeeze. Making sure you don't lose your left knee, yeah? Up overhead and then down. Let's go for 4. For 3, for 2, oh, so much work on that supporting arm and through the mid back. Last one, you're gonna hold your hand down. Remember, you could still be in a kneeling plank. Palm still faces the floor. We're gonna pulse that arm up and up. Little squeeze there and up. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You can do it. 5, you can do it. 4, 3, 2, last one, pull it in, take it back. Give those wrists a little roll. Okay. Let's turn it around. Oh my gosh, sometimes it's very humbling. I shouldn't say sometimes, it's pretty much always humbling when you do the classes as you're teaching them. Feel like Pilates business is it's not easy. Okay. So setting yourself up again, give your wrists a little roll, and you could always do this not kneeling. You're basically gonna, not hands and kneesing it. You could be kneeling and working, and you're just gonna follow the same directions just from kneeling upright, yeah? So definitely don't feel like if you can't wrist bear right now that you're out of luck, because you're definitely not. There's always a way. Okay, right hand pressing down, left hand coming up beside us. Zipping into that belly long from head to tail, and then your left arm is going to lift. Inhale to lower it down, exhale to lift. Inhaling it down, exhaling to lift. So general housekeeping, right? Second side, we want to make sure that we're pushing the floor away with that right arm, keeping the shoulder blade on the back, growing long from head to tail, zipping into that low belly. Inhale down, exhale to lift. Inhaling it down, exhaling to lift. that we're not like as much as the fabric's hanging, that we are really reaching out through the tail here. And if you felt like you wanted to up the ante, you're going to take those knees back behind the hips and find yourself in a kneeling plank. Depending how much load your wrists, your shoulders can handle, that might be a really exciting option. Let's go for 3. Oh, I'm shaking. Let's go for 2. Last one, lift it up, take that arm, reach it overhead. Your palm is still facing the floor, and then squeeze to your hips. Take it and reach it up overhead, squeeze to the hips, up and overhead, squeeze to the hips. Again, knowing that your knees could always be behind your hips. You could also be on your forearm, although if you're looking for a mod, I definitely find this one is probably going to be your best bet if you're trying to manage load distribution. Overhead and down. Let's go for 4. Let's go for 3. You got it here, team. For 2. Last one, that hand comes down beside your hip. Check in with your housekeeping. Make sure those hips didn't rotate. I did a really good example of cheating there. We're going to pulse that left arm up. Palm is still facing the floor. Maybe you're on your knees, right? Maybe you're upright. Maybe you're in a kneeling plank. Doesn't matter. Wherever you are is fabulous, as long as you can keep the integrity of your housekeeping for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Woo. Give those arms a good shake. All right, let's take it onto our backs. So we're going to do kind of like a whole bunch of different stuff for our abs. We're going to work into that little bit of low ab stability on our backs, and then we're going to flip back to forward facing. So know that there's sort of like a whole mix of stuff happening here. If you could take your sausage with you, please, and allow your back to melt over. So again, it might not be super high. That's totally cool. And what I want us to do here is try to find as much of a neutral or imprint as possible. So once you're over, depending how high you are, your pelvis might want to really, really tilt forward. So we want to do our best to kind of even it out, maybe even scoop to an imprint. Yeah, depending how you're feeling. Okay, let's take those hands behind the head. Maybe you get a bit of an opening through the chest here, which will hopefully feel nice after all that pressing work. Inhale, looking up to the ceiling as you breathe out, curling yourself up, scooping through your belly, maybe looking between your thighs. Inhaling to take it out and back, and then exhaling to curl it up. So nice and simple to start. And again, if you don't have a blanket for behind you, don't worry about it. And then we're going to go into that deep ab stability, yeah? So as you curl up, maybe lift that right leg without letting your hips shift. Inhale to lower back and down, and then exhale, lift up. Your left leg lifts without letting your hips shift. Different ways to play with this, right? Like sometimes we do it where we kind of build to this. Sometimes we do it flat from the floor. And then today we're adding a little bit of an opening, a little bit of a possibility for some extension through the mid back. So working varying degrees. Yeah, super important. Exhale. Good. So I was just noticing through the camera that my feet were really close to my bum. So I just sort of extended them out a little bit, which has definitely changed this challenge. You want to please notice the distribution of tension across your head, your neck, your shoulders, your abdomen, your pelvis. And we want to make sure that you're not like really lifting and leading from the neck. I don't know if you can see me, but that's not a super duper comfortable way to be. We want to feel like that head is fully supported so we can channel the strength and the stability from that mid belly. We're watching to make sure our hips aren't rocking and rolling side to side. Wherever you've committed to being imprinted or neutral, that your pelvis is honestly remaining there. Exhaling to curl. Good. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Let's go for 1. You're going to hold it. Now, wherever you are, imprinted or neutral, you're going to keep the leg lifted. You're going to draw the second leg in. We're going to reach for our toes, and we're just going to squeeze it in a little more. Gently release. Exhale, squeeze it in a little more. Gently release. Let's go for 4. Whew. Let's go for 3. Squeeze it in. Let's go for 2. Maybe your hands would rather be behind your head. That's fine. Last one. We're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Gently lower down. Take a break. Woo! Nice job here. Big breath into the belly. Breath out. All right, let's switch back onto our belly. So blanket sausage has been fabulous, but we're going to pop it away for now. We're going to come back down onto our tummies. So onto your belly. Toes can be untucked for now, up onto your forearm. And we kind of get to start in this bit of a Sphinx position. It might not be the loveliest through your back. We're not going to be here long. You're going to press your elbows, press your forearms, press your palms into the floor. Inhale to feel like you're opening. And then as you breathe out, start to nod your chin and start to press the floor away. Zip in your ribs. And then you're going to feel like you're scooping your low back underneath you if you can. Once you've lifted up, can you lengthen out into your plank? You're here for 5. For 4, no legs lifted yet. 3, for 2, for 1, gently release down. Woo-wee. So we're working our mid back, we're working our front back, we're working through our low abs. Okay, here we go again. So nothing's lifting yet, right? Like our lower body isn't lifting yet. It's just our hips to our torso. So inhaling to feel nice and long. As you breathe out, press into the floor, nod the chin. And so you're trying to lift up in that like cat spine that we do at the beginning together. And then once you're lifted, you're going to try to keep the low belly active and lengthen your upper body out. We're here for 5. You're pushing the floor away. 4, use that mid back strength. 3, squeeze your glutes. For 2, last one. And then we melt. Little release. I'm hoping you're feeling abs here, yeah? Lift back up into that bit of extension. All right, this one's going to be different. Taking your breath in, you're opening up, feeling nice and wide and jolly. And then as you breathe out, nod your chin in, press the floor away, scoop the mid back. Whew, the low back. Once you lift up, you feel that inner connection. Squeeze the glutes, lengthen out. Maybe if it feels reasonable, you can tuck your toes to lift. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower back down. Bruise yourself back if you'd like to. Into a bit of a stretch. Okay. And then bring it down. We're going to take the arms a bit wider now. So they're going to go like maybe off of your mat if you have room. They might end up needing to shimmy a bit. We're going to let our head drop. So you're going to keep all of that belly strength that we were just thinking about. You're going to leave your toes untucked. You're going to take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, can you sort of like find your abs and kind of, you might have to worm up a little bit, but look, you're in a kneeling plank. You're going to take your right hand, you're going to walk it into center. You're going to take your left hand, walk it into center. Take your right hand, walk it out. Left hand, walk it out. And then super, super slowly, you're going to bend the elbows lower down for 3, for 2, for 1. Notice you're in that lovely long line. And then take a little break. Shimmy your hands if they weren't feeling great. Hug the arms in, fire through the glutes. See if you can press up in one long line, but it's okay if you need to wiggle a little bit to get up. Take your left hand and scoop it in. Right hand and scoop it in. And then take your left hand back out. Right hand back out. Slowly lower down for 3, for 2, for 1. You're in that plank. And then take a little pause. Breathing in. Breathing out. When you're ready, if it feels reasonable, you can always tuck your toes. As you press the floor away from you, maybe you lift up into your full plank. Step the right hand in. Step the left hand in. Step the right hand back out. It's like a funny hokey pokey. And then you're going to lower down. Maybe your knees are still lifted for 3, for 2, for 1. Take a little melt, untuck your toes. So we fully release so that when we go into the tension, we're like fully intense. All right, here we go. When you're ready, charge up through those arms, through the belly, pressing up. Maybe you find yourself in a full plank. Left hand steps in, right hand steps in. We're going to hold our plank this time, yeah? Sorry, my watch just keeps totally sliding everywhere. So holding your plank, holding your plank. Now, maybe you decide because we're holding, you'd rather come down to your knees, and that's totally perfect. And I recommend maybe wiggling those toes a little bit wider, yeah? Can you please take your right hand and tap it up to your left shoulder? You're here for 4, for 3, For 2, place that hand down, pause. Keep pressing the floor away, squeezing through your glutes. Can you take your left hand over to your right shoulder? You're here for 4, for 3, for 2, place it down. One more time each side, right hand to left shoulder. You're trying to move and distribute your weight as little as possible. For 2, for 1, place it down. Last side, left hand to right shoulder. For 4, for 3, for 2, take the hands back wide. Left hand, right hand, slowly lower down. For 3, for 2, for 1. Oh, nice job, team. Pressing yourself up and back again, however feels good. Whew. All right, let's come and lay down on our left side here. Squeezing those legs together. Heels are together, thighs are together, knees are together. And we're gonna just take our shins back a little bit so that they're more in line with the rest of our spine. Top hand to your top hip, press the hip away, stick your bum out, draw your rib cage in, squeezing those heels together, and then let's open that top thigh up. Inhaling to bring it down, fire into those glutes, and lift. Good work. So we're just gonna finish off today with a little bit more side bum on each side. Exhaling to open, maybe a little more arms. We'll see. We'll see where the time takes us. A little bit more shoulders. Ribs are in, long and through. So your toes can be pointed or flexed. And you can dig into heels or you can dig into toes. I'm not really bothered either way. Like both of them are fantastic options as long as you can feel up into your bum. Yeah, if you're not feeling up into that bum cheek, then we want to sort of address why that's happening. Maybe play with just with your foot arrangement and lowering it down. And if you were to imagine, oh, it started again. The begging has started. If you could imagine like a band was wrapped around your thighs, just how much resistance you would have to find on the way up and on the way down. Opening it up. Oh, already feeling a bit of a burn there, I hope. Lifting it up and down. And then maybe the ankles and shins want to lift with you. Yeah, maybe you're like, they absolutely do not, and you keep them down, and that's totally cool. Opening it up. Keeping the ribs in, the waist on. Opening that top thigh. Squeezing through those glutes. Let's take it for 4. Let's take it for 3. Woo, feeling burny already maybe. Let's go for 2. Working into those side glutes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Last 1. We open it up. Now we're going to take that top thigh, drop it down just a smidgen. Remember, maybe you're lifted and then open it back up. Drop it down just a little smidgen. Open it back up. Squeeze. Drop down a little smidgen and squeeze. And can we really, really fire into that side bum? Open up and squeeze. Drop down a little smidgen. Open up, squeeze. You got it here, team. For 4. For 3. Shaking, shaking, shaking. For 2. Last 1. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lower down. Take a little break. We're going to take that top leg. We're going to pop it out of the way. It can maybe come behind you. It can maybe step in front of you. Whatever feels good. But we're going to focus on that inside leg, okay? So we're going to flex through that foot. If I shimmy up a little bit, maybe you'll be able to see my foot. You can be lying down. We're going to think about that whole inner line of that thigh, and we're going to lift it up. We're going to lower it down. We're going to lift it up. And maybe this back leg feels like it gets a little bit of a break. Now, if you can be stacked hip on top of hip, that's pretty great. But I also recognize that you might not feel great. You've got a bone there on the underside of your thigh, your bottom thigh, called your greater trochanter, that might be kind of like pushing into the mat. So it might feel nice to kind of lean back a little bit. It might feel nice to put a little bit of padding under your hip, yeah? And we're trying to lead from the inside of that left foot. And I'm hoping sooner rather than later, it's like, oh, there's some inner thigh happening there. 10, 9, 8, 7. Watching the underside of the waist. 6, to make sure it's not collapsing. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, little pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. You're going to stack your legs nice and parallel. Top hip is reaching nice and long. Layers are here to keep us warm. When you're ready, you're going to lift your top leg. Stays parallel. Bottom leg squeezes and then lower them down. The whole time you're trying to keep that top hip really nice and stable. Now, again, if you have a particularly bony greater trochanter, this might not feel fabulous. Play with your height. Yeah, play with your angles that you're working on here. Squeeze. We lift up. We join. We lower down. We lift up. We join. We lower down. Let's go for 3. Lower down. Let's go for 2. Squeeze. Last one. This one's different. You're only going to lower a little bit. So your legs are down in a hover. You're going to take your top leg forward, your back leg back, and then we're going to switcheroo. Switch, 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 switch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Woo! Little squeeze, little rub, little breath, and then let's flip to the other side. So on to your right side, please. Lying it down, you can squeeze those legs together. Top shoulder to your top hip, to your heels, making sure that they're as aligned as possible. Reaching that top hip long, and then opening it up. Lowering that shape down, and then opening it up. It's interesting, there's like so many different practitioners and people around that create different things, and I would love to learn it all, but I don't know how possible that is. But there's someone who I really admire who is really teaching more like, it's happening, it's banging, it's happening, we're almost done, who teaches more movement specific strength building, which I think is very, very cool. And so part of it, right, is like hip mobility and pelvic mobility, and she has this whole cool series. Her name is Lisa Messina, if you want to look her up on Instagram. And so whenever I'm doing things like for glute, for pelvis, I mean, she does like the whole entire body, top to tail, but I do think of her. Exhaling to open it up. Remember, you can have heels, you can have toes. Your pelvis is reaching nice and long. Your belly is drawn in. You're firing through the middle of that bum cheek to pull your thigh open, and then lower it down, reaching out through that tail. You've got it. Now at any time, if you want to lift those shins up off of the floor, you totally can. It's your practice. You can up the ante as much as you want to. Exhaling to open. Hopefully starting to feel a little bit of a burn. You could always wrap a band here if you wanted to. Let's go for 4. For 3. Firing on that open. Let's go for 2. Last one. We drop down a little and then we pulse it open. Drop down a little, pulse it open. Drop down a little, pulse it open. Drop down a little, pulse it open. Let's go for 10, 9, 8. Really getting into that bum cheek. For 6, for 5, ribs are in. For 4, hips are stacked. For 3, tail is open. For 2, last one, open, and close it down. Give it a little shake. You're gonna take that top leg, you're gonna just pop it behind you. Mine's up on my, on my toes. Your bottom leg is gonna reach out long. We're gonna reach out through that heel. Think about that inner line, inner seam of your pants, and then we're gonna lift that leg up. Inhaling it down, exhaling to lift, and down, and lift. So it's like you're pushing up from that heel. Check into the alignment of your waist here. And again, if you have a greater trochanter, that bone that gets kind of finicky, play with maybe rolling forward a little bit. If this feels like somewhere, you could always drop that knee down. Yeah, that maybe feels a little bit more comfortable. Then taking it back. Maybe you don't have that range. Maybe you want to take your blanket sausage and pop it under. Yeah, there's like so many different ways we can access this. Lifting up. This actually is very comfortable. I mean, I know it's comfortable, but now I'm here. I'm like, maybe I want to stay here. Lift it up. You could also slide it underneath your bone here. Let's go for 5. Let's go for 4. For 3. For 2. Hold it, little pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You got it. 4. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. We're going to squeeze those legs together. Stacking as best as you can. Again, just be mindful of that bottom thigh. You're going to lift. Bottom thigh lifts. Slowly lower. Lift. Lift. Slowly lower. If you've done lots of quad work recently, this is probably not going to feel nice because it's like you're just applying a bit of pressure on that quad and that hip. Again, you could always take your blanket sausage. You could roll it out, give yourself a little bit of extra padding through those hips. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you didn't need me to demonstrate it, but I will. Lift, lift, lower, down. 2 more. Up, and bring it down. Last time. Up and lift. From here, we lower a little bit. So your legs are hovered. Top leg goes forward and then back, forward and then back, forward and then back, forward and then back. Not always my favorite one. I feel like it gets a little finicky on that bottom leg. And flutter. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Really super good job, team. Let's flip onto our backs. Let's give those legs a little shake, 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 shake. And then if you walk your feet so that they're a little bit wider or wide-ish of your mat, take them south and then let them fall to the right. Maybe reach your arms up overhead. Taking a few breaths here in this rotation. Kind of looks like one of those chalk drawings. I don't know. We used to do funky shaped chalk drawings as kids. Depends how much longer we are in our houses. Maybe that'll come up again. Start chalk drawing. When you're ready, bring your legs back up to center and then take them the other way. So we started our time together with that little bit of mobility at the very beginning for the upper body. Oof, this hip is not happy. And then we moved into some more stabilization, right? Like the sliding of the back leg. We got it moving. So there's glute hamstring there, but lots of sort of staying connected to pressing away, drawing the rib cage in. Kind of sneaky work, that stuff, because it doesn't look like it requires very much, but it definitely does. Planting your feet on the floor. Let's cross that right ankle over the left knee. Give it a little opening and then a little wobble side to side across the back of the pelvis. From there, we went into mid-back stuff, I believe. So we worked into that back body with your little blanket sausage over, or your chest going over that. I really think it's important to make sure we're still focusing on posture stuff, especially as it's getting darker, right? We can kind of curl into ourselves a little bit. If there's anything else you'd like to do with this shape, if you'd like to pull it in, if you'd like to take it for a twist, please feel free to do so. Making sure that we're flexing out through that right foot, taking a breath in. And then gently lowering down. And let's switch side, left ankle over your knee. And take it for a little twist. Back and forth, side to side here. We worked into our mid back again when we were on hands and knees and we did that arm sweeping business, right? You could have been in a kneeling plank. We also worked our abs as we passed through extension and flexion, stabilizing our pelvis with different leg lifts, and then also in a variation of that like planky, pushy uppy, shoulder tappy work there. If you'd like to do anything more with this shape, you can draw the leg in towards you. If you feel like you're really reaching and your neck is not comfortable, again, you can take your blanket and pat it underneath your neck. That's a great option. And then depending how great it feels, you can sort of rock up and down your mat all the way up to seated. However you'd like to come to seated is up to you. Cross-legged, kneeling. We're just going to do a little twist here. So taking your left hand over towards your right knee, reach that right arm up, bring it behind your hip, press up as tall as you can, and then using your obliques to twist you around to the right. If you're feeling super fancy, keep your left hand connected, reach your right arm up to the ceiling, and lean over to the sort of like left knee. Little pretzel-y, big stretch for the upper body. Bring yourself all the way back up, turn your head to center, release the twist, maybe give yourself a little zhuzh. And then to the other side, the right hand travels to the left knee. Left arm reaches up to the ceiling and then it comes down behind your hips so you can get as tall as possible, zipping through the belly to rotate around to the left. And then if it feels possible, keep your right hand to left knee, reach your left arm up, and then you're going on a lean to a diagonal. Yeah, so it's not directly beside you, it's like over that right knee. Big fascial stretch there. All the way back up. Turn yourself back to center. Give yourself a zhuzh. Inhale to reach your arms up overhead. As you breathe out, give yourself a squeeze. Thank you so, so much for being here today with me, for you, whenever it is you get to this video. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.